in light of my recent relapses, I've been doing some thinking. Been deep in the think tank. Sort of reevaluating, trying to take a bigger picture view of semen retention and what my thoughts are on it and what my plan is going forward. Because it's changed a bit, and I just kind of want to lay it out there for those who are curious. I'm sure this is probably not going to be a popular video for those dudes who they're on the train of can never ejaculate again. The seed is the Christ oil. It's everything. You're literally nothing if you ejaculate. You're gonna die. You're gonna be nothing in life. Your destiny is in your semen and all that stuff. Now, while I do think that semen retention is really good, I wouldn't quite put myself in that camp that I just described. Now, my first year, I ejaculated 42 times. And then this year so far, the year's almost up in 2 months, I've ejaculated 31 times. So that's 73 ejaculations in 2 years, or almost 2 years. I might have 75 or 80 by the end of the 2 years, right? Normally, in a typical year of all my life, I would have ejaculated anywhere from 240 to 300 times. I did the math. If you do 20 to 25 ejaculations per month, which I was doing regularly, sometimes more, sometimes less maybe, it roughly averages out from anywhere 240 to 300. So over the course of 2 years, I would have ejaculated anywhere from 500 to 600 times. Now compare 500 to 600 to 73. I think that's quite a remarkable achievement. It's quite a huge step for me, and I'm proud of it. And this is kind of how I'm looking at it, right? I've kind of accepted the fact, I think, that what I want to do going forward is obviously still try to stay away from porn and stay away from ejaculation as much as I can, right? But it's not this thing where I think of it like I can never do it, or I'm never going to do it again, and I have to go on an indefinite streak forever. And it, if I relapse again, it's like the end of the world. I just don't think like that anymore. I think every single relapse is like, it teaches me that. Like every time I get deep into a streak, I end up thinking like, man, this might be it. I might never ejaculate again. Holy shit, I might just ascend into the heavens. Just fucking peace out. Fuck you. And what ends up happening is eventually I relapse. And then I have to like deal with the ego hit, right? The relapse is the ego hit. It's the slap in the face. It's the, hey, you stupid. You're just a mere mortal. You're just a mere human. Maybe you should rethink. It's kind of like your reality check. It's like, maybe we have to ground you again. You have to get grounded. Start to rethink what you're doing here. Are you sure you have the right perspective? And I guess that's how I see the relapse. Personally, like now, is it's just becoming this thing of like, it's trying to show me something. It's trying to teach me something that I'm not the person, no matter how much I want to be. I'm not the person where I'm just like, no porn, no ejaculation ever again. And like, just distract myself with doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that, and breath work and meditation and reading the Bible and positive videos and uh, subliminals and all these things that you hear about in the semen retention community, to never ejaculate again. It's like I take a much more sort of balanced. I have to accept the fact that's just not going to work for me. And you can call it whatever you want. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of dudes that are like, oh, this guy's whack. He's weak. He can't. He's a cope. It's cope. It's whatever. I'm sure. That's fine. That's fine. But it's just the point that I'm at, and I'm 33. I'm a lot older than most dudes that probably do semen retention. So I know how sort of things. I have a general idea of like how things work, how me myself, how I work, how things kind of happen in life. How you're always learning. You never have it figured out. A lot of guys in the semen retention community, they think they have it figured out, and it's like it's fine. It's fine. Like you'll I think we all learn. But I think that they're uh, sort of banking on it too much, hoping that it's like their only thing, right? And um, yeah, I'm just not this person that can be very just strict, cold turkey, not going to do it. That's never been me. I can't do things like that. It's just not the way that I run. Um, I've always been sort of a slow, gradual. Things have to happen organically. I have to feel my way through. I have to accept. I'm very good at just accepting failure and accepting that I'm not fitting into the current framework or paradigm that surrounds me. I'm very comfortable in that, right? So semen retention, the mainstream sort of um, ideas, or like the ideology, if you want to call it, is like you can never ejaculate again, and like retaining your semen is of utmost importance in life, right? And like I get caught in this too when I'm in a deep streak, or even when I'm not. I keep getting caught in that, right? But every relapse like humbles me. It teaches me that I'm just not. That's not my. I'm not there yet, and I'm not going to act like I'm there. I'm never going to act like I'm there, when I'm not there. And I'm not going to act like that's the thing if, I don't think that that's the thing. And that's kind of what's happening with me, is like I'm starting not to really believe that so much anymore. And that's something that I'm very comfortable with, going against the grain, going against what people think, what what do you call it? The mainstream thought. There's a word for that. I'm sure one of you know it. The mainstream thought in all sorts of things, whether it's health and fitness, or whether it's, you know, just all sorts of niche things. In semen retention, it's the same thing, right? Can't ejaculate. If you ejaculate, it's can't look at porn's the devil. It's all this stuff, right? Me, I've always tried to take like a bigger view of this, and I I love the progress that I made over 2 years. And people might say, okay, that's not semen retention. For guys that say, oh, you can never ejaculate again, then what I've done is like not semen retention at all. But relative to what was my baseline, what was my normal, I mean, it's leaps and bounds ahead. And so I'm very proud of it. And yeah, I've ejaculated like 5 times in the last 3 days. But I also went 46 days without ejaculating, right? And so for me, I know this is like anathema, but I see it as kind of like, I'm starting to see it as like it was kind of a treat. It was kind of just like a way of being like, I'm rewarded for 46 days or something like that. And the thing is, I'm not quitting semen retention. It's definitely a part of me. It's something that I need to do. And getting off of porn and trying not to look at porn so much is a thing that I need to do. It is very much something that is very dear to me. It's something that it's probably the thing that's most dear to me. And yet I understand that, like, um anytime I try to force this or try to, like, be like, I can never do this stuff again. I'll never ejaculate again. I'll never look at porn again. Anytime I try to do that, I just can't. And you can call it what you want, but like I just can't. I can't do that. I think it's a gradual process of like of understanding why you look at porn and why you jerk off and the reasons, how it kind of semen retention reveals certain parts of your identity to you, and you kind of work through that. And it's this continuous process of like, you go to like the why you're doing these things, the why you're looking at porn, the why you're ejaculating, the why you've, you know, been so low energy your entire life, the why you've struggled with women, the why all this stuff. And these things sort of get revealed to you in due time, and you can't rush it. uh you can't you can't delay it. I don't think you can delay it. um these are just, I guess I see semen retention as that. It's kind of it's a tool, right? It's a tool. It helps you bring out, it helps you get comfortable with the with the silence, with the non-stimulation, with the not looking at stuff, with the parts of your subconscious that are being drudged up and brought to the surface. That's what it helps you do. And then you work with that. You start to analyze that. You start to um, sort of, I don't know, uh, understand yourself more and more and more. And then hopefully you start to see why. I mean, I'm hoping that at eventually a certain point, and I don't decide when this point is like eventually I see that I don't need something like porn, and I have a much healthier relationship or view of women or something like that. But I can't fake that I'm that before I'm that, and I'm never gonna be that person. I don't fake anything. I'm like adamant. I'm always adamant of like, I have to be honest about where I am. I have to be honest about who I am, the bad and the good. And I'm not gonna fucking preach something that I don't necessarily believe. And like the whole thing of like, you would crumble under that. I mean, if I didn't have this sort of attitude, you can crumble under the weight of semen retention. And yeah, I don't know. For some dudes, there's dudes out there that make it seem like um, it's so easy, and they're done ejaculating, and they'll never ejaculate again, and they've done it, like they're over the hill, and they're just this whatever. And I don't know. I mean, they don't really seem all that impressive to me. I mean, those guys, I'm watching their channels, and like, you don't really seem like. I mean, I'm not really impressed. You're not like this supernatural, larger than life, like uh you know ascended being that's like, wow, every word is like drips with God or something. Like, it's, I don't really get that. So I don't think that semen retention is like everything. And the problem is, you never know if these people are being honest. A lot of these guys, they don't really disclose what like they've conquered all relapses apparently. So they don't disclose anything anymore, and they're just whatever. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. You can never know. That's the thing. You never know. Um, but me personally, I'm always gonna. That's why I always just, yeah, I'll always tell you. I'll always tell you, because I don't want you to think that I'm anything that I'm not. I am still very much a gooner who's trying to stop his gooning ways, and I'm less of a gooner than I used to be. Right, much less of a gooner. But I'm still I'm still susceptible to relapses, and I'm still not perfect. And but if we're talking like energy accumulation and all the things that have happened over these 2 years of semen retention, going on all these, you know, streaks and having all these relapses and making all these videos, it's like there's been a lot of progress, and I'm really happy with it. And I think I'm a much different person than I was 2 years ago, and I think it's all for the better. And I do credit semen retention for it, and I will continue to do semen retention, right? But I'm not somebody who beats myself up if the silence gets too deafening and I start to feel like I'm melting into the walls and nothing. I can't taste things and I can't smell things. And yes, I'm being a bit melodramatic, but and then I, have to look at some Annika Albright to feel alive again. Every 30 days or 45 days or 20 days or something like that. I'm just not going to beat myself up about it. And the thing is, I want to make sure that I'm not you know you have to I want to monitor my energy, and I want to make sure that I always feel good, right? And I'm very in tune with like how I feel. And right now I feel good. Like I feel fine. I've ejaculated 5 times in the last 3 days, right? And I don't feel like super drained of energy and like I'm just like this walking dead and I have no happiness and no drive. Like no, I actually feel better than I have in probably the last 3 weeks. I think the end of that sort of the end of that streak was getting pretty rough there. I just feel better, right? And my energy's still there, and I think I have just more, I don't know, just more motivation a little bit. And yeah, I don't know. I, hopefully you guys sort of understand what I'm saying and like where I'm coming from, but um, I will always continue to think about semen retention in the way that I think about it. I will always think about it based on my own personal experience. I always go there first. I don't subscribe to anything that other guys are saying. I don't subscribe to all this, you know, just because most people are thinking like, oh, you can never ejaculate again, semen retention, your destiny, you can, blah 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 blah. It's like, no, I'll never think like that. I'm always going to speak about semen retention and think about semen retention from my own personal experience, and I will not be shaped or convinced or whatever by other people. Um, Especially when it has to do with like fear or shame. If you ever have like any sort of movement or group or whatever it is, um, train of thought or school of thought or whatever belief system, and it involves like fear or shame, that's like always a red flag to me. If somebody's like shaming me or trying to make me feel fear, you should be afraid of something happening to you. You should be afraid of being drained and losing all your energy and being weak and your destiny crumbling before your eyes and your flesh stripping off you before God and all this stuff. If you nut, then it's like, okay, obviously, like I'm just gonna tune you out. Like that's it's a way of controlling people. Fear and shame is a way of controlling people, right? And shame is like, oh, you should feel ashamed for looking at porn. You should feel ashamed of ejaculating. Don't you have some self-respect? That's weak. That's small shit. That is that you're not even manly. You're just a bitch and all this stuff. Okay, you're trying to shame me. You're trying to make me feel small. Okay, I can just tune you out because I just don't believe in that stuff, man. I don't believe in shaming people. I don't believe in making people feel afraid. I just don't believe in that, man. Like, it's awful. If you ever feel like somebody's shaming you or guilting you or making you feel fear or anything like that, just know that they're trying to control you. That's not healthy. You just need to distance yourself from that person or that school of thought or whatever. I'm always about, you know, positivity, balance, um, you know, a healthy sort of dialogue, open sort of dialogue, and stuff like that. I never try to get too like, oh, it has to be this way. You know what I mean? But anyway, I think I got my point across. But so yeah, that's how I'll be going forward with semen retention from here on out. It's kind of how I've thought about semen retention, but it's just every single relapse, it kind of gets, I'm just sort of like, hey, remember, duh, like you're not, you know. Anyway, that's it. That's the video.